Hello, this is part 2 of notes on creating and using pathways in qtVlm. And my goal here today is at least to show how the safety checks work, how we set up the pathways on an inland route, and then how the safety checks work. I was going to try to do activation of the pathway at the same time, but it takes a few details to show the background on how some of this works with the alarms and so forth. So there may end up being, well, there almost certainly will end up being 3 videos on the pathways. So maybe let's just, and also an important reminder, there is a part 1, and that's fundamental to knowing what we're doing here today. But let's just say that we want to make a pathway on land. And I'll just outline that very quickly and then get forward on the safety checks. But let's say we want to make a pathway. And then I would, let's see, do I have any up here? Pathway, edit a pathway. Oh, okay. I was doing some experimenting first. So let me just start and just say a pathway, create a pathway, and I'm going to just say start. Well, if you had the boat there, you would start from the boat, but I'm going to start from the first mark. Later, this is what we want to mainly focus on here. And then, and so append POI. So you would, okay, that already. Okay, so let me just call this SCRATC, scratch 2, and say this is, in other words, we're going to mock up, we're going to just rough out the pathway we want, and then come back and fine tune it. And so you say then append the POIs, and let's just say we're up here somewhere. And you can move the chart around with these, but let's just say I'm up here and I want to go over here into Victoria past Broachy Ledge. So you would just start out, you could just say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, something like that, escape. So there is a pathway. And then you would start by zooming in on that. And clearly that's not right. You see I did that. So you could pull that over. Now I pull that one over so it's not hitting the land. And let's say I want to go, this will be interesting. Let's just say for now I want to just move that guy over to here. And so forth. Or you say I need another one. So you would just stop, insert. This is all from lesson 1, from the first one, a new POI, and then you can pull that around and so forth. And so forth. So that is the procedure for roughing it out and then fine-tuning it. And then the next step would be come through and give each of these waypoints a logical name so that you have an identification. So you want a number and a name. Number and a name. So let me for now just hide this one, hide that one we just made, hide that one, and bring in the one I made earlier on the same path. Let's see, edit a pathway to Victoria. Okay, unhide it and show it. Okay, so there you see I have this one with the Baines channel and the Fiddle Reef. Gave them names, logical names of some kind. And then what we want to do, one of the main jobs now is we want to edit the pathway and turn on this safety check. Now, let's just say 82, let's say 100 feet. Okay, so what do I want here? 100 feet safety? Okay, so I'm going to have to come back and explain this. And let's say, and we'll look out 500 feet. 500 feet. Let's see, 300. Yeah, 500 feet. Okay, so that's that. And so there is that's the way this shows up. But I'm going to have to explain what that means. And these are warnings. The orange is warning, meaning you're in some kind of danger. It's a danger warning. and the red means you're definitely in trouble. So in other words, this route cannot go that way. This has got definite warnings. You have to check it very carefully, and so forth. But if I had, for example, another waypoint, let me insert a waypoint, new POI. Okay, let me just put that one in here and then pull it out here. Oh, now why is that still? Oh, okay, so there's still some warning. It's because it's hitting this contour here. Okay, so that's what we want to study, and then we'll come back and use that. So, so for now, let me just hide this pathway for now. Okay, so let's look at how this works. When we get to the real groundings, and the real pathways, then we're going to have to look at how these contours and safety contours and shoalings are defined. But for now, let's just look at the functionality of this safety check. And I kind of mocked up something here. Oh, although there's no danger. Let me make something that'll definitely cause a problem. Here is a barrier. Okay, so let me just make a barrier. Okay, so a barrier, something like that. And then I can say escape and then say close the barrier. Okay, so now that's a barrier. That's an obstruction. That's an actual obstruction. A pathway and a route will go across an obstruction. It'll give you a warning. It'll tell you that you're in trouble, but it'll actually go across it, a pathway and a route. But a routing, where you're getting an automatic computation of the best route, it will not go there at all. It'll go down and around and so forth. So, but anyway, it's something we can test now. So I can just put this down here right on the edge of this. And then with this one, let's see this route here. Let's edit the pathway. So I made that. I said, here is a route that I want an absolute minimum distance of 100 feet on either side of the boat for me to go on that route. But I want the program to look for dangers and obstacles, look out 500 feet in either side of the boat. So you look out that far, 500 feet, but once you get below 100 feet, that you got to stop me. I don't want to go any closer than that. That's got to all go red. Now, and here we're just doing obstacles. We don't have any warnings. And the way this works then, well, I'll show you how it works. Let's say, okay, so we've got that set. We say, okay. So now so what this distance from here to here must be the 500 feet. Let me do the ruler tool and come up here, and that's 500 feet. You see, that's 500 feet. So you see here, and also these are rings I put out here out to 500 feet every 50 feet. Every 50 feet. So we see as we go by here, they're as happy at 500 feet, but now you see what happens here. Once you get closer than the 500 feet, you see now this is 400 feet. And so what it does is it shrinks down the green area. So even though you're looking out, you want to go out 500, but that's only green out to, 100, 150, and so forth. And when this gets down to 50, it's going to change to red. You see, like that. Oh, 100, 100. So that's the way this works. And the only way okay, so let me say that may not sink in 100% till you play with it. But there are lots of ways that you can then play with it to see how you set this up and how you check a route. So the first thing you do, you make a pathway. You make a pathway, then you just click that button and turn it on, and then figure out what it's trying to tell you. Okay, but then let's go on more with it. Now, to do this in actual practice, we have to know what signals it's giving us. So I've got the boat over here. So now we have to look back to how the warning, how the alarms are defined based on the soundings and so forth. So let me go back. Let's see, where is this? Okay, here's a cheat sheet. Here's our cheat sheet. And the section that has to be for this should be reviewed is alarm details. And that will go in and say what are the red obstruction alarms and what are the orange warning alarms. Generally, crossing the safety contour is going to get you an orange line, but crossing the effective shallow contour is going to ground you. So we have to understand how that works. Let's go back now to the chart. And the other thing that's helpful sometimes is to look in the chart information, and that's telling us, oh, this chart has a lot of contours, 7, 16, 33 is the safety contour, right? 33. That's really, okay, so this must have been a, we're on a French chart. I'm sorry. Okay, so we're on a French chart. Okay, excuse me, not French chart, Canadian chart. All right, so that's fine. But let's go now. Let's go and set up Command V. In other words, they are native meters charts. So I really actually probably should have started this whole thing in meters, which would make more sense. The ENCs are oriented towards navigation with meters. So let's see, Command V. Okay, so this is now our setup for our ENC chart. ENC chart. That would be configuration charts, and then rasters and vectors here. And here's where you're choosing your contours. Now, we chose, and also the boat, I'm imagining a boat like this, say, a big boat. This would apply, you would use this logic with the real contours that you've got and the real boat that you've got. But to cover the areas I am in right now, I've got to deal with a big boat here. So I'm dealing with something like a Santa Cruz 70, say. Santa Cruz 70 sailboat that draws 9 feet. And then let's say you can check here. See, so you have to look at what in other words, what are you going to think of as your safety contour, the safety value you want. Let me cancel this. And if you go here, let's just see where the nearest tide play. And this is all something you would have to do. You would have to consider let me just turn on the tide gauge here. Here's one. Okay. So in this area, there's the details. This is the tide. Let's go up to July 4th, say. We want to get a little closer to the solstice to see where the issues could be. Okay. July 4th. And that's April 4th. What did I do wrong? July 4th. Okay. This is what I wanted to see. You see, in this part of the world, we can have a negative tide of over 3 feet, 3.5 feet. Negative tide. So if you're on navigating around this part of the world, this part of this season here, you have to consider that that was even during the midday, that you could have a negative tide. So you take that 9 feet, then you add 3 or 4 feet to it for the negative tide. Then you need 12 feet, something like 12 or 15 feet. And then you add 3 or 4 feet for safety. Then I'm going to call my go-aground distance, I'm going to call 16 feet. I'm going to call go-aground 16 feet. So that's going to be my desired shallow water depth. Shallow water contour, meaning I want red on that because I'm going to go aground if I get to that depth. Possibly. I just don't ever want to do that. But then to be even more safe, my safety contour, I'm going to choose up at 30 feet. 30 feet. So let's go back now, command this. Here's the setup page. So what I'm going to do is Okay, so the way both of these, the shallow contour and safety contour, the way that they work is you put in what you want. Like I want 20 and I put 17 here. For a reason. And then, so what's going to happen is they're both going to show at the next deepest, because neither one of those, there's no 17, there's no 20. So they're going to show at 30, or was it 33? Maybe it was 33. I have to zoom in on that. But they're both going to show at the same point. So I'm not going to get the 4 colors that I want because they're both going to show at the same point. But the most important point for right now, what we're dealing about, I don't care too much about safety contour. I care about this one. But if there is no 17, and we read about this in the cheat sheet, it's going to take the go aground, the effective go aground is going to be the contour that is below that one, which is 16 feet. So that's the way that works. They're gonna when you choose a contour, safety or shallow, and it's not there, it's going to go to the one displayed on the chart is going to be the next deeper. But as far as the grounding goes, if the one you've asked for is not actually there itself, then it's going to actually go aground on the one that is shallower than that. Okay, so that's that. Okay. Now, let's set up the boat here. Okay, let me go to the boat. I can go to the boat by clicking this. And let me zoom in on the boat. Okay, so here's the shoaling I'm going to deal with here. You see, so what are these? Oh, yeah, it's 33 and 16. So that makes sense. So 30, and it went darker. You see, it went darker here because that's the safety contour. And 16 is the effective shallow water contour. Now, normally, there would be a color distinction between these two, but these two are both the effective, according to the navigation program, it thinks the shallow water contour is out here. So there's no change in the color. But the navigation program, qtVlm, it's going to go aground on the 16. And we can demo that. Here's an easy way to demo. I'm going to do it with a boat in a minute. But this is always important to remember, the ruler tool. The ruler tool is a way you sniff around to see what the alarms are. So that should go orange. Yeah, that's a danger. I've crossed a safety contour, it's gone orange. But if I cross this guy, it's got to go red, because that's where I'm going to go aground. I'm allowed to sail across this. Okay, let me do it at a different place. Let me come down here with the boat, not the boat, the ruler tool. You see the ruler tool. I can sail across here, but I've just been warned. Be careful. You're shallower than your safety contour. But I'm not allowed to go over here. All right, so that shows up. Now, in practice, the way you do this with your actual boat, when you're doing a cruise, or maybe even racing, whenever you could go here, and you can practice this yourself with a simulator. Excuse me. Now let's see how I do that. Okay, so I want to turn on the safety contour. I mean I go up here to the boat. Okay, let's see, boat settings, other settings, and here we have, this is the dangers cone. I made it 15 degrees either side of dead ahead. Now that's going to be a cone I'm looking for. Okay, so that's all okay. So now I turn on the simulator. You could do it with the keys, or I could go simulator. Now I got the simulator on. Let's see. Let me put some instruments on. And I'm, let's see, speed through the water is 5. There's no wind loaded. So let me click this. Let me turn this on. The engine's on. Yeah, the engine's on. I'm going 5 knots. So you see, I can go a little faster. Well, let me turn to the right a little bit here. Okay, that's it. Now let me go faster. Okay, well, that's fast enough. Okay, so wait a minute, I'm going a little slower. So you see how you can really play with this. Now, this is searching out, sniffing out for dangers within this danger cone. So if I go just a hair to the left, that's going to be, you see, I got the warning way out here. I'm that far away, and I have a warning up here. And you can put how long this is. I put it 6 minutes ahead. 6 minutes ahead. So 6 minutes is here. So 5 minutes, I'm here. Something like that. But if you go a little bit, you go over here, then you're going to hit the ground. Okay, so that's the way that works. And let me shut off the simulation. Option S, that would be Control S on a PC. And then I can get rid of this, just click this. Okay, and I can get rid of the instruments, click the instruments. Okay, so that is what I wanted to show there. And then now we could come back and let's see, where are my pathways? Edit a pathway to Victoria. And now we have 100, 500. That may be okay. Unhide it. Turn on the safety check. Yes, okay, go. All right, so there, okay, now you see what's happened here is exactly, it's hit this red right here. So if you wanted to, that's a go aground for this. So with this boat, with that big depth, you may want to go in here, like here, add a waypoint, and pull that over to here. There, you see? If I pull it over to here, I've hit this contour, which is my 30 feet warning. That's my orange warning, and that's over here. Now I'm green all the way down to here. Here I'm orange because I'm hitting this area, and that's another 16 feet in there. So let's see, that's 33 feet. I could, I'd have to move my waypoint. So anyway, you put in a new waypoint, and then maybe pull over to here or something. Well, it depends. And then you can also, likewise down here, you would just move that guy away a little bit. So anyway, that's the way, this wonderful feature of checking a route. Then when you have the route all checked, then of course you do edit the route, look at this, and you've got your plan here, and you export your safe. Well, oh no, you would estimate your speeds here. Now, if you're actually underway, and activate the route, then your real speed, then this button will come on, and you can put your real speeds in here. So let me stop there, longer than I had wanted, but these are this powerful tool. This type of safety check, by the way, is a required feature of a full-fledged type-approved ECTIS used on ships. But I have not seen any other recreational navigation program, ECS, I've never seen this on any other program. So it's a unique feature. qtVlm is very nice. And then when and you can leave it on or shut it off. Okay, thank you.